Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing? It's Cutler here, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube channel. It is another Tuesday where I'm looking forward to spending these 1,800 seconds with you all because it is one of the highlights of my week. It really is not just the highlight of my day, but one of the highlights of my week. So if you're stopping by for the very first time and you're trying to figure out what is this guy going to talk about, what is this platform all about, here we go, another content maker and deliver and all this kind of stuff. What is this guy talking about? Well, those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that these Tuesdays and these 1,800 seconds are about inspiration and motivation and trying to challenge us to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations, trying to make sure that when we show up, it's just second nature for us to be our authentic and organic selves, trying to make sure that when we show up with this optimistic outlook on life, and we show up with positivity, and we show up in the strength of our character and in the strength of our integrity, all of those good things being true to who we are. So we rehearse those and we talk about it and we chit chat about what's going on in life, and we walk away feeling better about life, feeling better about ourselves, feeling strengthened to inspire somebody else, feeling strengthened to empower and motivate somebody else. And that's why we do what we do. That's certainly why I do what I do. And I enjoy reading your comments. I enjoy receiving your emails. I enjoy communicating and hearing from you. So thank you all who have been with me for a while. Those of you who are here for the first time, do me a favor and go on and subscribe, because I always tell you to invite other people to come on and let's talk to Cutler. And so do me a favor. Gotcha, my friend. And so let's, make sure that you do me a favor and tell somebody, let's come on and let's talk to Cutler. And we're going to chat tonight about something that's pretty interesting. But after you subscribe, do me a favor, click on the notification bell. And when you click on the notification bell, it lets you know whenever I've gone live, or whenever I heard my Southern accent there. It lets you know when I've gone live. It lets you know when I've gone live and whenever I've uploaded new content. I'm not sure where it is on your device, but it may be down there, or up there, over there, or over there. But just make sure that you find it. And then I'm going to shout out the LTTC VIPs, because those are the people who just jumped into the chat room first. Sometimes those are the people who even beat me into the chat. Now, I wasn't tardy, but I was making sure, I was kind of rushing to make sure they got here this evening, because I finished work, I did my walk, and then I had a great dinner. What did you all have for dinner? I don't usually talk about dinner, but I enjoyed dinner. I had chicken wings, potato salad, Brussels sprouts. I just had a great dinner that I enjoyed. So I hope you all did as well. If you've had dinner already. Looks like the color of my screen keeps changing, so I hope that's really not affecting you all. I hope that you can see me okay and that you can hear me okay. But let me shout out the LTTC VIPs, the people who I see and saw in the chat first this evening. By the way, while I'm shouting them out, you all go and tell somebody that's come on Let's Talk Color, because tonight we're going to talk about how to make sure that you have the right people in your life, make sure that you have the right people in your village, the right people in your community, right people in your space, the right people in your circle. We have a lot to say about making sure that you select the right people. I think, Cutler, don't get ahead of yourself, but I think that some of our biggest assets in life are the people that we have in our lives. I also think that some of the biggest holdbacks, drawbacks, and pullbacks are some of the people that we have in our lives. So we're going to talk about this dichotomy, all right? We're going to talk about it, because we might need to do some paradigm shifts. That means we need to rearrange some things that are going on in our lives, rearrange some people, rearrange some priorities that we've given people. But Cutler, don't get ahead of yourself. We'll talk about it in just a moment. But the people that I see first over in the chat are Annie Cutler, Linda Martin, and Queen Nita. So it's good to see so many of you. By the way, speaking of having great and wonderful people in your life, I'm so thankful that I have you all in my life. Over the many of you know that I celebrated my birthday last month, and I received so many cards and texts and messages and what have you, and I'm so thankful. Received some nice gifts. I received some. I just tried about 120 wings of BTU for the kids. Oh, how nice, fried them. Okay. Speaking of birthdays and all of that, I received some nice gifts and nice cards and messages and what have you. Uh, One came from one in particular that I really, really cherish, that I really, really appreciate, came from one of you all who joined me. So thank you. I wanted to just to shout that out. I have it in the other room, but I received this beautiful journal, an absolutely beautiful journal. You all hear me all the time talking about how I like to write, how I like to make notes of things, and what a beautiful journal I received that had the "Let's Talk to Cutler" that had my name on it. So without calling the person out, you know who you are. I want you to know that I got that. I absolutely love it. Thank you so very, very much. A beautiful gift, and one that definitely will be used. All right. So let's talk about this thing, this notion of how to make sure that we have the right people in our lives. How many of us can attest to the fact that having the right people in your life can really push and propel you into greatness? Because having the right people in your life, those are the people who sometimes believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. Those are the people who strengthen you when you feel down and low. They encourage you when you feel down in the dumps, and they encourage you to keep on going. Those are amazing people, amazing friends, amazing supporters, amazing colleagues, an amazing village, an amazing community. By the same token, some of our drawbacks have been because of the people who are in our lives. Those are the people who really don't want to see you do well, the people who really don't wish you well. You know, they may have surface relationship with you, but they really have no vested interest in your well-being. You are in their lives, or you are part of their lives, what they can get out of it, the temporary satisfaction of having you around, or the value and the asset that you bring, perhaps how you make them feel about themselves, or how just in any number of things. But you need to make sure, as we're talking about being successful in the second half of the year, and that certainly has been a theme of mine for the past few times that we have communicated here on these Tuesdays. It's making sure that as we are going through the next half of the year, we want to make sure that we have the right people in our lives. There's this saying that your level of success and satisfaction in life is dependent on your ability to attract the right people. Anybody ever heard that? Or at least some variation of that. Your level of success, your ability to succeed and to accomplish things in life. So your level of success and satisfaction in life is contingent, it is dependent on your ability to draw or to attract the right people into your life. There's a saying that the it's the five people that you spend the most of your time with. They have the biggest impact on your quality of life. Think about that for just a moment. Think about the five people that you spend most of your time with. They tend to have the biggest and the greatest impact on your life. And so you have to ask yourself, with whom am I spending most of my time? Are these people who have my best interest at heart? Are these people who want to see me become my best self? Are these people who have a vested interest in what's good for me? Are these people who are in my corner? Are these the people who lift me, the people who pray for me, the people who wish me well, the people who encourage me, the people who inspire me, the people who motivate me? Are these those people, or are these the people who really seem to sometimes have ulterior motives, and they drain me? I can't even think of a sophisticated word, but sometimes we have people in our lives who drain us, who offer us nothing, who become more burdensome than who take from rather than add to. I'm thankful that I have wonderful people in my life who really have a vested interest in my well-being, who pray for me, who love me, who encourage me, who support me, who will sometimes critique me and let me know when I'm, not when I haven't dotted some I's and haven't crossed some T's. I'm thankful for those people. And it is important that we attract the right people in our lives. A lot of times people say, oh, it's just going to happen. It will just happen. They will come. But can I tell you this? You have to be careful about being so lax about letting people just come into your life. Oh, they'll come when the time is right. But there has to be something that's a little more logical than just saying that they will come when the time is right. That's like saying the money will fall into my lap. Oh, I'll accidentally become wealthy when it's my time. The money would just fall. Oh, it will come when it comes. I really don't have to do anything. It will come when it comes. I won't have to do anything. That's not true, you all. I've never heard of anybody who accidentally became wealthy. They worked for it. They worked hard at it. They worked hard at it. And sometimes relationships are the same way. Building relationships, building cohorts, building community. It is the same way. People may not just waltz right into your life. There's some work that you have to do to sometimes attract those people. Wealth just doesn't always fall into people's laps unless they win the lottery, the Powerball, or whatever that they get. They know wonderful for them. I think it's a great thing. But think of the odds. So sometimes what we have to do is make sure that we are postured and poised so that the right people can come into our lives. Make sure that those 5 people who come into your life or who with whom you spend most of your time, make sure that these are people who have your back. Sometimes it is a lesson, it is a learning lesson to discover that the people that you spend most of your time really didn't have your back as much as you thought they did. Maybe there was some dysfunctionality taking place. A lot of times we rely on family members or we rely on relatives when family is more than just relatives. Because when people don't have your back, there's some kind of dysfunction taking place because you're relying on them, you're spending all your time with them, and they don't have your back. And so you have to go through this mental and psychological healing because you come to the realization that, oh, wow, they really didn't mean me any good. That's a challenge. You all know I say it often. We like the inspiration, we like the motivation, but it's the piece that challenges us. Sometimes to take a look at who's true in your community is a challenge. You want to show up your authentic self. You want to show up your organic self. And they want to suppress who you are. They want to suppress your value, your power, your beauty, your strength, and all of that. But you need to show up your organic self. Because when you hide who you are, you won't attract the right people in your life. And I can testify to that. I can testify that with all the scars, and we sometimes receive scars, and they come at us from so many different angles and so many different places, and sometimes you're living with those scars. And because you're living with scars, you don't trust anybody else, and you're thinking that, you know what, I'm not going to trust anybody else. So what we do, we end up spending a lot of our time hiding. And I want to encourage you, don't spend time hiding your true self and trying to fit in to where others want you. Trying to fit in like you are a round peg trying to fit into a square hole. Don't do that. Sometimes we are scarred and scratched so much as children through our childhood or early parts of life, or even as adults, we are scratched so much and we are scarred and we are scraped so much until we hide because we're trying to heal. We hide because we're trying to heal. And we don't want to run the risk of being scarred and scraped again. So we hide who we are. We'll hide parts of ourselves to please and to fit in with what we think others want. And when you do that, can I tell you what you end up doing is repelling the right people and attracting the wrong people. Take a look at the 5 people. I'm telling you, I'm just challenging you. I'm challenging you. Take a look at the people with whom you spend the most time. Take a look at the people with whom you spend the most time to see if you have anything in common, if your values are in common, if you think the same way, if you rationalize, if you reason, if you kind of live your lives the same way. People come into your life for a season to help you get seasoned. Confirmation. I'm telling you all, it is so important. I look at people. I pay attention to life. I pay attention to the people who are in my circle, to the people who are in my space. And even if they're not closely in my circle, in my space, or in my life, I don't take for granted the people who come in and out of my life. I pay attention to them. There are a lot of wounded people around. Some of us have caused the wounds. Some of us have seen the wounds. Some of us have been wounded. And so make sure that Make sure that you don't attract people into your life who are who enjoy wounding people. I have such Cutler, don't say this, but I'm going to say it. I have such a disdain for people who can wound others and never think twice about it, who can wound and hurt and scar others and never apologize for it, never recognize what they did, never apologize for it. Or if they do see it, they just ignore it and keep on going. And they don't have the humanity to apologize. There is something about their conceit and arrogance that does not allow them to say, I'm sorry for hurting you. Don't attract those people in your life. Don't keep those people in your life. I'm talking about really how to succeed in this next half of the year. I know sometimes this is a challenge and we don't want to hear this. We don't want to talk about this, but some of us have people in our lives who are constantly scratching and scraping you, and you know it. And there's some kind of high that we're getting from it. But you want to make sure that you live and lead your life in such a way that you're attracting the right people into your life. And I'm not talking about attracting people for a romantic connection. I'm talking about attracting people who are just good, wholesome people. How many of you have ever just met people who seem to just have a plethora of good people in their lives? Maybe they're not the most outgoing or charismatic people, but they have wholesome people in their lives. Marissa, you're right. Having common things in common is so important, because people need to be able to meet somewhere. We need to be able to meet on some plateau. We need to be able to share some footing. We need to be able to have some common space. If we don't have any equal footing, if we don't have similar values, if we don't have a common space, how are we going to talk about the difficult things that we face in life? How are we going to help each other get through when we don't know what's important to each other, when we don't know how each other will rationalize or reason or respond? It is important. I say it all the time. It is important how you respond. How you respond is what matters. I need to have people in my life who can rationalize and reason and respond similar to me, or at least understand how I do those things. Maybe if we start smiling more, we will attract people who are positive, people who seem to emote some sort of positivity. That's a great way to connect with people. Just start smiling and being thankful. Another way that we can attract people into our lives is just be learning to listen to what folk have to say. We all want to be heard. We all want to be understood. We all want to know that we matter. We all want to be acknowledged as living here. So let's learn to actively listen to people. Let's learn to give people our attention, because it shows that you care about them. Make sure that the people in your life, the people in your space, are listening to what you have to say. And not only listening to what you have to say, but listening to what you don't say. This is time for us to do an inventory of the people in our space. It's about making sure that we have the right people in our lives. Do they listen to you, or do they talk to you more than they listen? Let's do a people inventory. Think about the people that you spend your time with. What kind of persona do they present? Do they zap your energy as soon as you see them? Or do they give you energy? Do they energize you every time you enter their space? If not every time, at least most of the time, they energize you. You want people who will energize you just by their presence. You want people who are listening to what you have to say. You want people in your space whose body language is positive, because that's a powerful communication tool. People who can emote positivity just by their body language. Whether it's maintaining eye contact when you speak, maybe having an inviting a presence about them. You want people in your space who are concerned about other people, who are concerned about other people, who value this thing that's called humanity, who won't hurt others and take it for granted, who doesn't mind making other people feel appreciated, who doesn't mind giving compliments for no ulterior motive. People who could say, oh, you really look nice today, and they mean you really look nice today. Notice how the people in your life, the people in your space, the people in your circle interact with other people, and then you will begin to assess how they interact with you. No, see if they notice whether people have, or if they notice whether or not you have a great sense of humor, or if you are discerning in how you speak to people. I like the way you are intentional in how you speak to people. I enjoy how you can engage people with your sense of humor. See if they really notice these nuances about you. You need people who understand and see you, all of you. I know a couple of this is a challenge because you're telling me to make sure that I have the right people in my life. Yeah, I am. It's important. We would do an inventory of so many things, yet we won't do an inventory of the people in our lives. We'll take a look at the food in our cupboards, the food in our refrigerators to see if it is too old, if it is expired, if it's stale, if it can be used, and we will toss out what is no longer any good. We'll take a look at the clothes and the shoes that are in our closet to see if I can fit them anymore, if I can wear them anymore, if they really vibe and jive with my style and who I am as a person now, if it's something that I like. If it keeps me warm in the winter, if it keeps me cool in the summer, we'll look at the clothes and the shoes, and if something doesn't fit or we don't like something, we'll get rid of it. We'll sometimes take a look at the furniture in our homes to see if it's worn out, if I need to update, if I need to remodel, if I need to renovate. So we would do an inventory of on the clothes and the food and the furniture. But we won't do that with the people who are in our lives. I challenge us to do it with the people in our lives. I'm not saying you have to just get rid of everybody, but I'm just empowering us to do an inventory of the people in our lives. Maybe we need to reprioritize those with whom we spend most of our time. It's important to make sure that you have the right people in your life. And you don't owe it to anybody. I need to say this. You don't owe it to anybody to allow them to be in your life. You don't owe anybody the space in your life. You don't owe that to them. Oh, well, I feel like I should just have. No, 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 no. You don't owe anybody that. Because sometimes we just allow people to come and we feel like we owe them that, but you don't. You don't. Yes, treat them with kindness, treat them with courtesy, treat them with respect, all of that. But you don't owe anybody. And one of the things I wish some of us can get through is that nobody owes us a space in their lives. Oh, well, that's my second cousin. That's my first cousin. That's my aunt. That's my uncle. But nobody owes you a space in their lives. They don't owe that to you. But when they grant you that, don't take it for granted. When they offer you that, when they extend you that, don't take it for granted. The same way when you offer people that, and if they reject it, just keep right on going, move on. Listen, just move on. Or if they trespass on the space that you've offered them, learn how to forgive and just move on. And may I remind you that forgiveness does not mean that people get a pass back into your life. It does not. Forgiveness does not mean that people get a pass back into your life. Sometimes people would trespass against your heart. They would trespass against your values, and you can forgive them and keep right on going. It doesn't mean that you love them any less. It just means that you learned a lesson in terms of how to interact and to deal with them. You don't owe them a pass. Forgive and keep right on going. Love from a distance and keep right on going. But here's another way to make sure that the right people are in your life, you all. See if you are vulnerable to each other. You can trust each other with your vulnerabilities. You can share your struggles. You can share your challenges because it shows that you are human and that you can trust each other. I want people in my space, in my closest space, that I can trust. People who understand me on more than just a surface level. What else do I want you to examine as you look at the people in your space? Be authentic. See if they are authentic. Because authenticity is the key to building genuine relationships. It really is. Whether it is just platonic relationships, whether it's something beyond that, whether it is a business relationship, authenticity is the key to genuine relationships. Be true to yourself and make sure that they're being true to you. Learn how to express your emotions and your opinions honestly. Don't be afraid to show your imperfections and your quirks, your shortcomings and your downfalls. Because when you are authentic, when you are organic, when you are honest, when you are true, people can sense that you are genuine. They can sense that you are sincere, and they are more likely to trust you and to respect you and to believe you and to have faith in you and to have confidence in you. Those are the kinds of people that you want in your life. So make sure that you are your authentic and organic selves, and make sure that people are offering you the same kind of space. Make sure that they are offering you the same thing. Stop and do an inventory. We're talking about moving into the second half, and we're already into the second half of the year. Make sure that you present with all of this, but make sure that these are things that the people in your life present with as well, particularly the people that you spend most of your time with. Look at your top. I won't even say your top 5. I would say maybe your top 10. Some of your top 10 people, and make sure that they offer you authenticity. A space where you can be vulnerable, a space that you can respect, a space that you can trust. People who are real, people who are kind, people who are courteous, people who don't mind interacting with others, and they are aware of how they treat them. They're concerned about how they treat them. They care about how they treat them. It frightens me. Well, it used to frighten me. Now it upsets and disturbs me when people can hurt other people and never even think twice about it. That bothers me. I don't think it's cute, funny, or smart when people can hurt others and make a joke about it. Those kinds of those people with that kind of personality are not my closest people. Because if you can hurt people and never think twice about it, then I can be the people that you hurt. Oh, no, well, I wouldn't do that to you. Well, you'll do that to that other person, and I'm no different from him or her. So we have to make sure, hey, Auntie, it's so good to see you, my friend. We have to make sure that we have the right people in our lives, the right people in our space. So again, some of my greatest blessings, my greatest assets are the people in my life. And that is true. People are going to be your greatest asset. People can also be your greatest drawback. So make sure as you are doing an inventory of the clothes and the shoes that you're going to keep and what you're going to get rid of as you're changing your closet and you're doing all of that, and you're now looking at the food that's in your cupboard and your refrigerator and what's expired, as you're looking at around your house to see what furniture you may want to get rid of. If you want to bring in new furniture, this is the time of year. When people say, hey, I'm going to do inventory twice, I'll do it, or maybe 4 times, so the winter, spring, summer, fall. So as you're doing an assessment and an inventory of the things in your life, do an assessment and an inventory of the people who are in your life. How much time you spend with them, how much priority you give them, how much of your heart you give them, how much of your time you give them. Make sure you have the right people in your life. And as you're making sure that you have the right people in your life, make sure that you are the right person to be in other people's lives. Yes, we like the inspiration, we like the motivation, but tonight I come with a challenge so that we can show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. Make sure that you show up in all of your integrity, in all of your character, in all of your authenticity. Make sure that you show up fully you, because everybody else's slot is taken. Make sure that you have the right people. And for some people, make sure that you are the right person. Thank you all for doing what you do. Thank you so much. So let's keep on doing what we do. Let's keep on building a community. Let's keep on maintaining connectivity. Make sure that whatever is going on, you keep your head up, you keep your hopes up, you stay safe and you stay sane. Don't let people drive you crazy. Stay safe and stay sane. And know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. I thank you all for being a part of my village, for being a part of my community, for being a part of my space, for being a part of my circle. And so until next time we talk, do me a favor, tell somebody else, come on and let's talk to color. I'll see you the next time I see you. You all have a good evening.